I've done a couple of videos about shop safety, but there's a step that we all must take before we can actually accomplish this, and that is using critical thinking. Not only do we need to use it in our daily lives, but if we do not use it in the shop, it's almost a guarantee that a serious injury will happen. Let's do a talk about on what critical thinking is and how we can apply it to shop safety. Hello anyone, I'm Scott Bain and they call me the Old Farmer. Back growing up on the farm, I have survived serious injuries because I use a belt suspender and rivet approach to problems. This is a different way of saying critical thinking. I do have to admit that I have had injuries that put me out for a day or two, but if these events had followed through to a normal conclusion, I would probably not have survived. Only one of these events was my fault, and the rest are either circumstances or caused by actions of others. It's more than just common sense when talking about critical thinking. Let's take a look at what the folks at Britannica have to say. These are the folks that used to publish the Encyclopedia Britannica. You can no longer buy the books. It's a website now. Quote, "Critical thinking is characterized by a broad set of related skills, usually including the abilities to 1. Break down a problem into its constituent parts to reveal its underlying logic and assumptions. 2. Recognize and account for one's own biases in judgment and experience. 3. Collect and assess relevant evidence from either personal observations and experimentation or by gathering external information. 4. Adjust and reevaluate one's own thinking in response to what one has learned. And 5. Form a reasoned assessment in order to propose a solution to a problem, or more accurate understanding of the topic at hand. Theorists have noted that such skills are only valuable insofar as a person is inclined to use them. Consequently, they emphasize that certain habits of mind are necessary components of critical thinking. This disposition may include curiosity, open-mindedness, self-awareness, empathy, and persistence." End quote. If you want to say in a more simplified way, it's belt suspenders and rivets thinking. It could also be said that you plan for the worst and then find a positive outcome of the problem. We as parents and grandparents, and in some cases great-grandparents, need to learn critical thinking and then teach it to the younger generations. This is why things are so messed up in the world. No critical thinking. I started teaching my son at about 3 years old about critical thinking without calling it critical thinking. Television is a good starting place. When a commercial is playing, I would ask him what they are not saying about the product. I started with maybe 3 commercials a night, not all 100 or so commercials that are shown before his bedtime. We did it as a game. He loved figuring out the hidden things not shown about a product. When it was time for gifts, such as birthdays and Christmas, we always had one gift tied to clues and puzzles, as well as a scavenger hunt. He would have to solve clues that would lead him to other clues, usually about 10 or so. If a clue was too hard, and that didn't happen often, I was pretty good at judging his abilities, we would throw a hint or two to help him out. It's very important not to frustrate a child doing this, otherwise they will instantly shut down. We did this all the way up to when he left for college. Yes, he really liked these scavenger hunts. When he was a teenager, I would spend weeks figuring out the clues. What is happening? I'm rewiring his brain to be able to handle analytical problems. For his career, he became an actuary for an insurance company. Later on in his youth, I paid him not to watch television. We left loopholes such as class assignments, news events, and if we were watching a program. I always made sure I was watching Star Trek. But after a while, he had no interest in television and instead would read. The point is, start them early. Don't overtax them. Understand that true critical thinking does not occur until the later teenage years or up to the middle 20s before the brain is fully developed. It also helps in keeping kids from getting into bad habits. But now let's bring it back to the shop in order to keep us and those we invite into our shop safe. Part of the process is thinking things through before we do something. Look at how things can go wrong. Assume the worst will happen and then plan the steps so it couldn't happen. I've told this story before about a nephew who had a class project. He wanted help in cutting some wood on the table saw. He might have been about 12 years old. I showed him how to do the cut and then had him try it. Before he turned off the table saw, he reached over the blade to get the cut piece. I wrapped his knuckles hard with a piece of 1x1 wood that was about 18 inches long. I didn't use the flat side either. I hit him on the corner of the wood. I knew it would hurt without causing any injury. He was mad, and I didn't blame him until I told him why I did it. I never wanted him to do something that was unsafe and would cause permanent injury or death. It doesn't matter how many I'm sorries that you say, it won't fix the injury. He's in his 50s now, and when he's about to do something dangerous, he would remember my wrapping his knuckles. His job was engine repairs along with air conditioning repairs on the big touring buses similar to a Greyhound bus. Stupid in this case could be deadly. The last time I saw him, he thanked me for teaching him this lesson. It has saved him many times over. This is why I say belt, suspenders, and rivets for holding up your pants and for planning your actions. Think it through. Think it through again in a different way. See how many things can go wrong and do the steps so that it can't happen. Don't be distracted during the procedure and while using power tools. This is also true for any sharp or heavy objects. Make sure visitors or students understand the rules of the shop, and if they're going to do something stupid, if need be, you will have to push them away, hard if need be. The alternative could be much worse. Always wear the proper safety apparel, including hearing and vision protection. These are basics that too many times are overlooked for just a quickie little job. As the ability to use critical thinking in the shop grows, you will see it seeping into other areas of your life and helping you to avoid stupid mistakes or decisions. With critical thinking, you will learn to respect the opinions of others while still disagreeing if need be. I have even been corrected by a 2-year-old. The child was right. I thanked the child. Be willing to learn from anyone, and especially those who you might think are your enemies. They make the best teachers.
Before we go, thank you to our subscribers who helped us reach over the 1,000 subscription mark. It's very humbling to receive the support from our subscribers. Thank you. I will always try to give you accurate information, and I'm not worried if you disagree in comments. Just remember, youngsters may read your words. Well, this is the old farmer Scott Bain saying, be well, be safe, and be kind to someone today.
Don't forget to click like, subscribe, share, or ring the bell buttons on the original Old Farmer channel. We enjoy reading the comments that you leave, and they do help the channel, so keep them coming. And once again, thank you for watching the original Old Farmer.
The the VFW National Home for Children, providing families of veterans and active duty military opportunities for growth and development in a nurturing community. Please consider a donation to help their children and families. I.C. Rhodes speaking.